In this video, we're going to learn how to use text boxes to make conclusions about the work that we're doing in Excel. You're going to have a lot of homework assignments that involve Excel. So you're going to be doing work in Excel, having solver in Excel, do the equation solving often, and then off to the side, you'll write conclusions that you're drawing from the Excel work that you're showing. So for example, I have here a little input-output table where my x's are spanning from -5 to 5. I put in the equation x squared minus 2 in the y value cells, and I drug it down. I'm noticing here that I have positive x values. That is off. Positive x values, and then they're negative, and then they are positive again. One of the questions that you're often going to be asked to do is to find where that change occurs. Where does the function change from being positive to negative? Where does it change from being negative to positive? So if it changed from positive to negative, it must be the case that the y values either became 0 in between, or it's possible that they actually were undefined to make that change. In this case, it's y equals x squared minus 2, so that thing is never undefined. Instead, we know that the y values must have become 0 somewhere in between here. So somewhere between -2 and -1. And we can use solver to identify where that change actually occurred. So I can put my cursor in the cell where the formula is, the y value cell with the formula. I go to solver, and I have it change cell B6 to a value of 0 by changing the x value cell A6. I make sure I uncheck this cell here where it says make unconstrained variables non-negative, because I want it to give me x value that's negative. Negative is fine. And I hit solve. All right, and it tells me, let me just drag this out a little bit, at about -1.41421. Remember, this is scientific notation. It means -0.0000008. That is approximately 0. Excel has just rounded it a bit, and really that is 0. All right, so let me change this cell down here back to -1. There we go. All right, so -5, -4, -3, -2. In between -2 and -1, we have an x value of -1.414, and that produces a y value of 0. And then at x is -1, the y values are now negative, still negative, still negative, and now, oops, up to x equals 2, they're positive again. So again, there must have been a place on the x values, somewhere between x is 1 and x is 2, where the y value actually became 0. Again, I'm going to use solver. So I go to data, solver. This time I want cell B10 to equal a value of 0, and I want it to change cell A10 to tell me the x value that makes the y equal 0. All right, I hit solve, and it tells me that when x is about 1.14213, again, this is scientific notation. It's saying -6.5 times 10 to the -7th. That is -0.0000065. That is approximately 0. Excel is just rounding. It really is 0. And I'll change this one back to 2 so my table continues. And there we go. Okay, so now I really have solved all the x-intercepts, solved for all the x-intercepts on this f of x function. I could really now make a lot of nice little conclusions about the behavior of f. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Insert tab and hit Text Box. And I'm going to insert a little text box up here where I'm going to say f of x is positive on the interval -infinity up to -1.41421, right? And that seems to be true. And we just solved for the places where the y value is 0. It's here and it's here. So let me insert another text box. I go to Insert, Text Box, and I drag out another text box. F of x is 0. at x equals negative 1.41421. Let me insert one more text box. Here's an interval of behavior. F of x is negative on the interval. It looks from negative 1.41421 up to positive 1.41421. Looks like it wrapped around. I can drag my text box a little wider so that it all fits there. And then again, one more text box. Here's another interesting little point. The x-intercept. F of x is 0 at x equals positive 1.41421. And lastly, I'll just drag that up so it's kind of near that point. And lastly, drag one more text box. F of x is positive on the interval from positive 1.41421 up to positive infinity. So I really have placed nice conclusion statements next to the function, and I put those little text boxes near the places where you can see that in the Excel table, and you can drag them and drop them. You also can take the text boxes and do things like make the font red. You can make the font smaller. You can change the font. You can do whatever you want. The usual sorts of things you do in Microsoft Word, you can also do with your text here in Excel. And in this way, you will write your written homework that includes Excel, which is many, many written homework assignments in this class.